So this is going to be the first breakdown video I do here, and I just kind of want to show you guys the mindset that I had while I did these. I still remember, for the most part, what was going on through my mind as I did these dances. So I'm just going to break down all the little nuances of how I went about these. So let's just go ahead and we'll probably break these down into like 20-second chunks and analyze, go back a little bit, rinse, repeat. Let's go. So of course I'm starting out slow here. Nothing's really going on, and we're just gonna make sure that we feel ourselves into the mood, right?
I've been erased from the old me. Can you tell me again? Can you hold me if I won't relate to the morning sun? It pulls you out and takes you.
So I know I hate to stop it right before the drop for you guys, but I just want to share with you guys a few things that were going on in my mind as I did this dance video. So if you notice, my space is kind of limited here. I've got that little pillar right there. I've got the wall here, and the space looks a little bit wider on this wide angle lens, but in reality, it wasn't a lot of space. But honestly, that's one of the things I love about popping animation is you can literally dance in space as limited as shoulder width apart. And frankly, that's about what I had, maybe that times 3. So I knew that the space was limited, but also if you notice that weird yellow lighting in the background, that was a bit of a limiter as well, because if I went anywhere too far away from that pillar, the shadow that would be casted on me would just have darkened my figure so much that my moves would not have looked, you wouldn't have been able to see them as well. So I was playing with a lot of these different things that honestly you may not even be aware of. So this plays into my freestyle, and you got to be aware that there are limitations to what you do, whether that's based on the space, the lighting, especially when you're doing it for video, because obviously you can only dance in your current physical space. The lighting may affect that as well. There may be people around you depending on where you're dancing, and of course, you're only facing the camera. You're not really just going all over the place. It's not moving, it's in a fixed position. So all these things are going through my mind, as you can tell, because I'm not doing a ton of gliding or anything like that yet. But that being said, we'll see what happens next. And so there's a lot to unpack right there. So of course, I've never danced to metal music before like this. So frankly, I had no idea how I was gonna move to this. I'd listened to it maybe once or twice, like 20-second segments, just to kind of get a feel for it. But really, you know, there's not a protocol for popping animators to be dancing to metal music. So I'm thinking, okay, what's the best way I can use my body in this space? And it actually ended up being moves that maybe weren't necessarily what you would expect of a popping animator. So what I did, as you could see, I was literally just using my arms and my chest and my torso. Now, I kind of threw myself into it because, as you can tell, the rhythm guitar section and the drums were the driving force in that part. So I just kind of played to that. And as I did, it kind of had the impactful effect that it had, as well as, of course, doing a few pops while I did that. But you notice I'm not really waving, I'm not doing any kind of body waves, I'm not really gliding, simply for the fact that I wasn't sure how that was gonna work with what I was doing, but I knew that if I kind of moved and stopped with the beat, and that's something I wanna make kind of apparent for some of you that maybe are just starting out with your dancing. As you dance, it's very tempting to throw in all the moves that you've acquired, because obviously you spent a lot of time learning them and you want to use all of them, right? You want people to know how far you've come, but simple is best. I mean, like, I don't care what you do in life, that should be your motto for everything you do, because at the end of the day, simple, just for some reason, it always ends up being better. And so no matter what moves you're throwing out, if you're staying on beat, if you're hitting at just the right moments, because the song is really your space, it is your canvas, and it's much better that you stay within the lines than try to go outside of it and just kind of like blur the whole picture, you know what I mean? After all, your body is the picture that you are painting and the song is the canvas. So I want you to kind of lock that in, because I know for me, my dancing got a lot better when I stopped trying to throw in every move that I knew. And I just, even if it was a simple move, or even if it was a move that I wasn't confident in that I wasn't sure if it was going to look good with the style of music I was dancing to or that particular part of the song, if I just stayed within the parameters of the song, the beat, like I knew that if I move, I'm going to stay within the, I don't know, 1/16th meter that it's in, or whatever you might call it, it would just look better than if I tried to do all this other stuff, but it was kind of outside the bounds. So after that, this is where we get a little bit more musical with what we're doing.
That we're cut out of the same cloth, like the pages of a story that we can't stop. And now I can't replace you with another thread. Take one more step, I'll jump with you.
And so in this section, of course, it's a little bit of a breakdown right before we get into the second chorus. And what I did here was I just kind of played just a little bit to the lyrics, because I was familiar with them to an extent. And as you can see here, actually, if I go back real quick.
Another thread that we can't stop, pages of a story.
Right there.
Same cloth, like the pages of a story that we can't stop.
You notice what I did with my hands there? It's very subtle. May not even seem like a big deal, right? But like as I'm picturing pages of the story, you know, those lyrics, my hands kind of folding over themselves and just moving very slowly. I'm kind of moving just to the bare minimum of the song at this point. And that's another thing. I could have been throwing in all the waves and body waves and glides that I've, you know, been doing for years now. I just felt like this part of the song needed to be kind of, it's very emotive, and I needed the dance to kind of fit that. So yes, I slowed things down, and that's the other thing. If you're somebody who likes to throw in a lot of moves, try playing a little bit with pauses and slowing down, especially if it's already a part that's kind of made for that, because you'll find that there's ways to be influenced by things outside of dance, like music, or for me, like I'm really into public speaking, entrepreneurship, and all these other things. And so actually I take a lot of inspiration from other things that have nothing to do with dance. So like when I'm speaking, there's nothing wrong with the short pause or kind of slowing things down or hushing your tone. And sometimes I actually use that concept in my dancing. Like, okay, I could go hard. I could just throw in a lot of moves. I could just like hit really hard at this section. But I'm like, maybe if I pull back a little bit, let's see what the effect is. And so that's kind of what I did here and in other parts of the song, as I'll highlight for you guys later. But I just want that to kind of sink in for you guys, that there's many different places that you can take inspiration for your dancing, and it'll show when you do your freestyles.
Now I can't replace you with another thread. Take one more step, I'll jump with you.
Now, of course, in this section, it's the second chorus, so I already was playing to what I had done in the first chorus, and I liked what I did, so I just kept doing it, playing to the rhythm guitar and the bass drum. But I did throw in a few other things. You noticed I glided a little bit more. I had a few more waves in there. Because why not build on what you were doing before, you know? There's no reason why you can't do that now that we're a little bit further into the song. And this, when we get to this little breakdown section, this I really want to highlight a few things that I did here for you guys. All right, so there's a lot to unpack in this section. I just want to start by letting you into my mind space real quick, my head space real quick. I frankly did not know how I was going to move to that part, because as you notice, we're getting into the meat of this metal breakdown, and the guitars and the bass drums, like, I'm not really sure if I can hit all these, right? So of course I just hit whatever I could, and for the ones that I wasn't sure about, frankly, I just moved my arms in positions that I figured would kind of create a certain vibe. I had no idea how it was going to look as far as like the spacing in between my arms, but I knew that as I move, like I said before, as I move to the beat, that's honestly what's going to make anything you do look incredibly better. You may find the positions you're moving your body in, you may think they're awkward, you may think they're weird, but at the end of the day, especially as a popping animator, really it just matters that you're hitting the right points in the song. And like literally you could put your body in any position and it'll look cool. I guarantee this, because me and like when I see dancers like I glide move, I mean, frankly, if you're moving your body in that way, without music, it would be weird, but to music, because it's on beat, it looks great. It's awesome, and it becomes part of your style. But as you noticed here, I actually want to highlight just one section here real quick. So right there, notice how I slowed things down, because before that, we were kind of going hard. We were starting to throw in a lot more glides, body waves, arm waves, pops. So now we're kind of bringing the whole thing together. But interestingly enough, and frankly, I actually don't know why I did this, but I actually really like the end effect was, I don't even think I popped, or if I did, it was like a super weak pop. But as I kind of bent my body into that position and just came back, you notice how much it slowed the whole pacing of that song. But then as soon as I was done with that, I came right back into it and moved with the rhythm guitar section again into more waves, into body waves, and you know, the rest is history. So that's what I mean by like, don't be afraid to take pauses, don't be afraid to slow things down, because you never know just what kind of effect that'll have on the whole freestyle. I mean, it really does wonders when you approach it that way.
I need to know that you believe in this, or just release them into deja vu. I never wanted you to understand. I wanna make you believe in me.
And so, of course, there, like I said before, we're starting to feel a little bit more confident in what we can do, because now we're already 2.5 minutes into the song. I'm kind of figuring out what's working for the overall vibe of this track. But on top of that, I'm starting to kind of bring this thing to a crescendo, right? And you'll really start to see that in this last part of the song. So I'm just going to stop talking, let you see it, and we'll come right back into it. So I ended the song a little bit on, I don't know, this is starting to kind of look like a signature of mine. I've been doing it in a few videos now, and I really don't know what to call it, like hand over heart or pocket protector. I have no idea what that is, but I've been doing it a lot lately, and I kind of like it because I don't know, it's just a nice way to end a song for me. But I just want to highlight something real quick. So during that whole second section, like towards the end, you notice how the song is hitting a crescendo. All these different instruments and backing tracks are starting to meld in with the chorus. And of course, I played to that. In the same way, going from just focusing on the rhythm, guitar, and bass drum section, now I'm also throwing in everything that I thought maybe I shouldn't, because I had no idea if it was going to look good or not with this track. Now I'm like, I've already gotten 3 minutes into the song. I think it's going to look fine. So I threw in more body waves. I threw in more glides. And if you notice, I'm starting to actually, let's just go back and kind of pick this apart a little bit more. Yeah, I started to bring in more tuts. But there's still definite, like right there's still sections that I slow things down, because no matter where you are in a, well, this isn't a dubstep track, so I shouldn't really call it a drop, but for lack of a better term, the drop, you can slow down in the drop. In fact, it kind of adds a cool effect, because while the music is still like super heavy, super fast paced, or whatever's going on, like it just forces people to stare. It forces people to lock in on that one thing that you're doing. And then when you come back, it's like sweet. It's like getting back in the fast lane. It's like getting back in the carpool after you've been stuck in traffic for the last few seconds. Like it's a nice little juxtaposition is what I'll call it. So I just kind of want to wrap it up there. Funny thing is I actually recorded this before the other day, but for some reason the whole setup just like got lost, and so there were a lot of things that I went over in that last video that like it pains me that I couldn't bring them into this one, because frankly that was like a one-time deal, and the program I was using just for some reason did not record it. But you know, I tried to make this a little bit shorter than the other one, and I just wanted to give you kind of the bare bones, like, dude, this is kind of what happened as I danced to a metal track, which I'd never danced to before. And be looking out for more of these. I'm really excited to be doing this, because I've never seen anybody go over their freestyles like this, you know, break down past videos of theirs, and kind of let you see a sneak peek into their headspace and their philosophy on freestyle, which is really cool, because not only do you get an overall picture of how this might apply to you and your freestyles, but you also, for a dancer that you really like, may be able to just get into the mindset that they were in one particular moment in time, which frankly, that's awesome. So hope you guys enjoy this. Hope you got something out of it. Stay tuned for more. I'm definitely looking forward to do more of these, and you guys stay awesome. Keep these in mind in your new freestyles.